Hi, I'm Ruth Chandler, one of the co-authors of the book Fabric Embellishing, the Basics and Beyond. Today we're going to continue with a page on tucks. This time we're going to add a few little bits and pieces, and this is on page 20 and 21 of the book. So what we're going to do is start with our piece of fabric, and once again you're going to have to remember that when you do tucks, what originally starts as a large piece of fabric will be barely big enough for your page. There's two different ways to do this, and this one in the yellow I am going to do vertically this way. Now in the book it shows it horizontal, so you can do either way. I just wanted to do something different for a change. I've gotten a piece started right here. The first thing we're going to work on is the netting here. And you can cut a piece of netting twice the width you like and however long, fold it in half, stitch it down with about a size 4 length stitch on your Bernina, and then gather it up with the thread and tuck it under here and just sew it down. Now if you notice, this one is sewn totally down. The tuck is down. There's another way to do this if you'd like it to have more of a 3D, and I'll show you that next. We have this piece of tuck here is just a folded piece of fabric that I have pressed into a kind of a pleated look, folded the ends under, and and it goes tucked under right here, and you can see how that looks here. And I did the same thing with a yellow piece of fabric that I did with a tool, folded it in half, and then ran my gathering stitch along the bottom, pulled it up, and you can tuck it down in the tuck. And then this one here is a way to make some little flowers or little buds or anything with a ribbon. And I have found that the silk ribbons work easier because you can manipulate them more, get lots more folds, and you can just start in the middle of the bud. And if you'll know, any flower you look at, the buds are kind of twisted and there's not really a nice shape or anything in the middle, but as you add to it and go round and around, you get really a pretty little shape like this. And I don't know if you can see it there, Liz. And then you can tuck it right down, cut it off, tuck it right down under here, and you'll have a little rosebud in there. Now here is the other way to do it. This one's stitched all the way down. If you notice, it doesn't come up. Now if you take and just stitch to the top part of the tuck, you're going to have a 3D effect here. And I wouldn't suggest it on the heavier things, like on this right here, because it does have a tendency to flip over. But it might be a good idea if you wanted to do it on little bits of things that aren't very heavy, or if you wanted maybe in a jacket right along here that has a little bit of cording or something, and then have a little bit of a 3D look. The next thing I did was this Rickrack. Now Rickracks are coming in so many fun sizes, colors, anything. These are 2 velvet ones. You can also get it in a really large one like this, which is Liz's color, you can tell. Or you can get fun polka dot ones like I've got here. And the neat thing about these is you can switch them over and get and if you twist them, you get 2 different colors, so think about that. And this one looks like maybe just like somebody slapped paint on it. You can buy teeny tiny little ones like this that are really fun for kids things, or you can go a little bit more, and these I got from the Fiber Goddess, and these are hand dyed Rickracks, so just fun and fabulous to play with. So this is what I did with this one. I took a piece of Misty Fuse, cut a little thin strip of it, and put it on the back of the dark fabric, or the dark Rickrack there, because I was going to lay it on the light colored, and then I just laid it over the top of the light color, and you get a really cool look. And when I tucked it in, I only tucked it in part of the way, and this one I did sew flat because I didn't want it to flop loose. And when I did do that, I also put some Misty Fuse on the inside here, so that when I put it in here, I could press it just where I wanted to hold it, and then when I stitched it with the machine, it would hold it there and not move on me, because by the time you get 2 layers of rickrack and your fabric there, it gets to where it kind of wants to get wonky on you, and I didn't want to have to take out stitches because that's a pain. So there's your option there with the Rickrack. And then I made some cording. Cording is easy to do with either your zipper foot or a cording foot, and you just get the cotton cording, which I like the best. And I like to take and use bias cut fabric, especially on a stripe, and you can get this look. And all I have done is taken the white cording, which looks like this, wrapped the fabric around it and stitched it very close to the cording. Once again, you can also use your zipper foot on this if you would like. And that's what I slid down in here. And this, you just, once again, stitch really close to the edge here. And you've got this cording in there. This looks really good on garments, or it might look good on the edge of a quilt in your binding to add a little bit of extra. And then we've got this piece here. This is a just an eyelash yarn, and they do have a tendency to twist up a little bit, so this might be where you would want to play with your Misty Fuse even. And you can stitch that in there and then have almost like a little fringe. This might be good on the bottom of, I don't know, the edges of things at the bottom of your pieces, or even all the way around the edge. Now one of the things, and this one takes a little bit more time, is this one here. And all this is ribbon stuck down in here willy-nilly, and then you're just going to stitch it down. There's several different kinds. I have found that the silk ones like this work better because they're easier to manipulate. And this one is a ribbon that's a little bit stiffer, so it's a little bit more difficult to do. And this is what you might want to use, is either a wooden skewer that you can get at the grocery store. This is a stiletto. My favorite is this product from Clover, and it's a ballpoint. You could call it a stiletto or an awl. And I like the ballpoint because it doesn't poke holes in your fabric, but you get a lot of control. Now I have this zipper foot for the Bernina, and this is the Teflon zipper foot, so it slides easier. And I have pinned this ribbon in, and if you notice, I've left a little bit here for you to see how you can just tuck the end under here, and you can put it close, twist it. If you look here, there's some that are longer, closer together, longer. This one's a little twisted, and you do have to pin every single place. If you don't, you're going to end up with pieces in places you don't want. And so this one does take a little bit more time, and I am going to stitch this one down in just a second. But if you'll just look at this as it, so you just have to have almost 3 hands to do this. So I'm just going to do it like this. Put another pin here to hold it, and you can get really fussy with this, or you can start fussy and get disgusted and keep going, or you can just play. So what I would like to see you do is play more than get frustrated, so don't take too much time with it. I'm gonna just stitch right along here as close as I can get to the edge here. And this does take time with your needle down, especially because you do have to take out every single pin as you go along, or you're gonna break a needle and get really, really frustrated. This almost begins to look kind of like a fringe. It's kind of the same technique as making a fringe, only you do not cut the ribbon unless you just want to. You could cut the ribbon and see if it would fray, which would be kind of a neat look. So we're going to continue to stitch down through here. And once again, I'm stitching this all the way down so that it is not going to be open up like this does. It's going to be stitched all the way down. I'll hurry up and get to the end here. One of the advantages of this little Teflon zipper foot here is that it slides easier. And anytime we can get something that'll slide over things easier, it'll make our life nicer. So there you have it. I do have one challenge for you, and then I'm going to show you how that's going to work. So here's your little ribbons, and so now I don't know what you can come up with, but here's an example of what Liz did, which I found is very, very fun. Some lace here, and it looks like it's crocheted with some beads and some sequins, and she also changed directions here as compared to this way. So think of that also. Right here is a it's a cording with some threads on it, so that would be fun. This is a netting with polka dots, but what I want to challenge you with, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is the netting that I had off of a bag of lemons. So she rolled it up and rolled it up and put it in there, and she did the 3D, so you can see the 3D look there. So I also have this piece of plastic stuff, and this was around a Japanese Asian pear, and I think I'm going to paint it or do something and maybe put it in one of these little loops. And so that's my challenge. See if there's one of the tucks in your piece that you can use, something that's been reclaimed, or one of those things that you wouldn't normally put into a tuck. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of your pages, and we'll see you next time. Have fun.